If you love movies and movie discussions, you've come to the right place. Who am I, you ask? I am the Wiz! Now, today I'm going to review the 2023 film from Ben Affleck, Air, starring Matt Damon, Ben Affleck, Chris Messina, Chris Tucker, Jason Bateman, and Viola Davis, directed by Ben Affleck. I'm going to do this review a little differently this time. We're going to try a new format, see how it goes this week, and if it doesn't work, I'll change back, but I think I got something here that many people might enjoy. So what I'm going to do is what I'm going to call a 3-point review. Instead of just having an exhaustive review, I'm going to choose 3 points that I think are necessary for you to know whether you're going to enjoy the film or not. These 3 points can be positive, they can be negative, but I think these are the 3 most important things that you need to know about this film. So why don't we get into it? Here is the 3-point review of Air, directed by Ben Affleck. Now let's get with the plot first. Now this movie is basically about Sonny Vaccaro and Nike courting Michael Jordan to be part of their brand. If you've heard of this story before, this has been written about a bunch, and if you're into sports, you might already know the story. This was monumental for a number of reasons. At the time when Nike was courting Michael Jordan, they were in 3rd place in the shoe market. I think it was, if I remember, it was Adidas was first and Converse was second, and on a distant third, it was Nike. And then there are several things about this deal that were monumental for the time. And the film lightly goes over that, but why don't we get into what I think are the 3 points that you need to know about if you're going to watch Air. First off, Air has a great cast. The cast in this movie is one of the big highlights, I think, of the film. Of course, you have Matt Damon and Ben Affleck. Matt Damon plays Sonny Vaccaro, and Affleck plays Phil Knight. And I think one of the funniest performances I've seen of somebody who is just being an eccentric, essentially. I thought that was a good performance. It also has Jason Bateman, Chris Messina in a very good performance. It has Chris Tucker, who is actually surprisingly good in this, as well as Marlon Wayans. I thought he was very good. But I think the best performance of this film is actually Viola Davis. Now, I am a fan of Viola Davis. I think she's a great actress. I don't think how you could not think she's a great actress, but I think she's a great actress. But she makes Dolores Jordan, which is Michael Jordan's mom, a very important but also very respected character in this movie. Whereas I think in other films, this character would have been just, not just a big bad, like something that the main hero, Sonny, would have to overcome to win Michael Jordan's business. The film was written, and how Viola Davis portrays Dolores in this movie is subtly a character that really cares about her son and her state and his station in life. And it was done very well with Viola Davis in this movie. Could other actresses could have done this? Sure, but Viola Davis performs this character really well. And I think she is actually the best performance of the film. I would say second is Damon, and then third is Chris Messina, because he just has some funny lines and some really funny He's really funny in this movie, I have to be honest, as David Falk. So yeah, I will give props to those 3 performances. But overall, the performances of everybody is good. This is a throwback of sorts to the type of movies we don't have anymore, where it's about one thing, and you have this really good cast of characters doing a small to medium-sized film. My second point, this is nostalgic done right. So a lot of films, when they want to pepper in nostalgia, they tend to go overboard. They do a whole bunch of like scenes of like different types of music, which this film does, but doesn't go overboard. Or they really hone in on, hey, it's this time period, you're seeing this, you're seeing that, and it's like, okay, I get it, yes, I'm in this time period, I get it. But Air only does it to give it an ambiance, to give it a feeling of what the place was like at the time. It wasn't a sense of just hammering it down like, hey, you remember this? Hey, you remember this? This film doesn't really do that. It is there in the background, but it actually it sticks to the story and what is most important, which I like. This is nostalgia done right, I think. And I think the music that he chose in this movie was actually really well done as well. I am really not a fan of 80s music. I have never been a fan of 80s music, but the music they chose in this one was actually very good. And I actually really liked the selections that they had when deciding on what was good for this film. And the third point, and it's kind of a negative, the not-so-subtle winks and nods. I don't know whether it's intentional or this is exactly how it went down, But the film does a lot of presupposing. A lot of films about a key figure or an event always has characters that says this is going to be the most important thing in your life. This guy is going to be monumental. This guy's going to be special. And this film does it a lot in this movie. Now, I do understand that a lot of people knew that Michael Jordan was going to be a special person when it came to basketball. On the other hand, like, did they really know that well? I mean, they do mention that, you know, a snapped leg or an injury could end his career at any time. To me, the film just makes it feel like that you are just going to buy that this was worth it because it's Michael Jordan. Whereas there were questions about Michael Jordan in the past. Because remember, number one in that draft was Hakeem Olajuwon. To me, it just felt like it should have been more of a story about, yes, Sonny saw something special in Michael Jordan, but it should have been more of a story about how the mother, maybe she knows, but doesn't care. She just wants what's best for her son. And they do that in a movie, but they really hammer in that Michael Jordan is special. Michael Jordan is transcendent. Michael Jordan is great. And I was watching this going, they're really laying it a little too thick on this. And maybe some of you who are really into basketball can pipe in and be like, no, everyone knew this. But no one questioned this at all. Everyone believed it. To me, that was kind of like, you know, I get, like, now everyone thinks he's special. I honestly think he's the best basketball player of all time, even compared to LeBron. I agree. But come on. This was so apparent. There was no questioning. There was nothing at all. In the film, the business does question putting all their chips onto that player. Sure. I do understand that part, and they do a good job doing that. But the constant barrage of, he's special, he's this, he's that, like, okay, I got it. Like, I really got it. And I thought that kind of was a little too hammy for me. But it's just, to me, it's like a lot of presupposing. Like, I know that he is, so honestly, these guys know, right? I'm smart like these guys. And I just watch this going, okay, I get it. Yes, he's special. All right, I get it. A bit of a negative, but I guess somebody can pipe in and say, actually, a lot of people were thinking that as well. I just thought that was a little weird that they were really hammering that home. Okay, so who would I recommend this for? I would recommend this for people who enjoy films about businesses and how they work. I'm thinking more of films like Margin Call, Glengarry Glen Ross, Wall Street. Movies that are about the machinations of how something works and how something gets done. I think people who enjoy films like that would really like this film. People who like uplifting and underdog films. Again, Nike was not in a good spot. Sonny Vaccaro was going to lose his job if he didn't get this done. He took a huge risk. And he believed in himself, and he pushed himself to get it done. And that's a sort of uplifting kind of movie. The other one is films with great actors that are character-driven that are hardly made anymore. Nowadays, when it comes to films, unless it is a prestige film, you don't get a big cast of important actors. Like, unless you're Scorsese, unless you're Christopher Nolan, you don't get this kind of cast. You really just don't. Because they're all worried about making their money, getting their checks, and getting a lot of awards if they're going to do that. So that's why the important directors get that. Not that I don't think Ben Affleck is a great director. I think he is. I think he's a very good director. But he's not on the Scorsese, Nolan, Anderson level that you would expect these type of actors to want to get into. And I found that kind of refreshing to see this again, where this was more prevalent in the 90s and 2000s. So if you miss this type of film that isn't like an epic, but it has a good cast, I think you'd enjoy this too. Who I would not recommend this for? People who like sports movies for the sports. There is next to no sports in this movie. You'll see highlights of Michael Jordan playing basketball when he was in high school and in college, but that's it. Like, if you are watching this because, oh, I want to see some basketball in a movie, there's none of this here. There really is none of that there. If you don't like Matt Damon, there are people who don't like Matt Damon. I don't get it, but yeah, if you don't like Matt Damon, because he is the star of the movie, you might want to skip. And if you are here solely to watch a Michael Jordan movie, this movie is really not about Michael Jordan at all. It's really about courting Michael Jordan, which I thought was a nice twist, and I really think it was very well done in that end, because a lot of sports movies, they're about a person, they're about that person's life. It's not about Michael Jordan personally, but it's about gaining his business. And I think this is a interesting twist on that type of film, where it is about a person, but not about a person. So I thought that was interesting. Overall, I recommend this film. I think this is a good movie. It was enjoyable. It was funny. I did question at times whether this should have been a limited series than a movie. But on the other hand, I did appreciate that this type of movie was made again. Would you get the cast that you have gotten if it was a limited series? Probably not. I don't think you would have gotten that. You would definitely not have gotten Viola Davis or Matt Damon or Ben Affleck. I don't think you would have gotten them at all. So, I think they were like highlights of the film. But a part of me at the end was like, this could have been a limited series and it could have been a little bit better. But I did enjoy this film. If you are interested in it, I'd recommend Air from Ben Affleck. Now, if you want my full review on this movie, you can go to my website at IamTheWiz.com. You'll have my full written review right on the site, along with a link to the video that has this review that you've just listened to.